In a quiet little town nestled between rolling hills and a winding river, there lived a boy named Ethan. He was the only child of Tom and Linda, hard-working owners of a small farm. Their days were spent under the golden sun, tending to their crops and caring for their animals, hoping for a good harvest that would sustain them through the year. Unlike the other kids in town who spent their days riding bikes, playing ball, and laughing loudly in the park, Ethan was different. He preferred solitude. While others raced down the streets, climbed trees, or chatted endlessly, Ethan would sit quietly, observing the world around him. He watched how the wind danced through the wheat fields, listened to the birds singing on the telephone wires, and paid close attention to the stories shared by the town's elders at the local diner. His silence made people curious. "Why doesn't he talk much?" the townsfolk whispered. "A child should be playful and outgoing," they said. But Ethan's father, Tom, believed otherwise. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Tom gently asked, "Son, why don't you talk as much as the other kids?" Ethan smiled and replied, "Dad, listening is more important than speaking. When we listen, we learn. When we speak, we only repeat what we already know." Tom looked at his son, impressed by his wisdom at such a young age. "That's true," he said, "but sometimes silence is misunderstood. People might think you're shy or unsure." Ethan thought for a moment and replied, "True strength isn't in talking, Dad. It's in understanding. I will speak when it's necessary." Tom nodded, realizing his son had a wisdom beyond his years. In that same town there was a man named Jake. Jake loved to talk. He had an opinion on everything and made sure everyone around him heard it. Whether it was town politics, the latest football game, or farming techniques, Jake spoke as if he were the ultimate expert. One day, he saw Ethan sitting quietly on a bench watching the clouds. He laughed and said, "Ethan, you're always so quiet. If you don't speak up, no one will ever notice you. Life rewards those who are bold and loud." But Ethan just smiled and continued his quiet contemplation. Jake, however, wasn't satisfied. He started teasing Ethan every chance he got. "Look, it's the silent kid again. Maybe he's afraid to speak," he'd say. Others laughed, but Ethan remained unfazed. He knew that not every comment deserved a reaction. One day, a heated argument broke out between two local farmers. Each claimed ownership over a piece of land where their fences overlapped. Their voices grew louder as they accused each other of stealing land. The townspeople gathered, trying to calm them down, but no one could. Then, to everyone's surprise, Ethan stepped forward. He didn't shout. He didn't argue. He simply said, "If you both agree, I can suggest a solution." The crowd fell silent. One of the farmers scoffed. "What can this quiet kid possibly say?" But the other, curious, nodded. "Let's hear him out." Ethan spoke in a calm, steady voice. "If you keep fighting, neither of you will win. But If you find a way to share the land wisely, both of you can prosper. He then proposed a fair way to divide the land, allowing them to work together instead of against each other. The farmers listened carefully. Slowly, their anger faded. After thinking for a moment, they agreed to Ethan's suggestion. The townspeople were amazed. The boy who never speaks just solved a problem that even the mayor couldn't fix, they whispered. From that day on, people saw Ethan's silence in a new light. He only speaks when necessary, they said. But when he does, his words carry wisdom. A few days later, a successful businessman named Mr. Carter visited the town. He was looking for someone wise and thoughtful to help manage his growing company. "I need a partner who is smart, observant, and knows when to speak," he announced. Excited, many townsfolk, including Jake, rushed to meet him. Jake was the first to speak. "Sir, I'm the best choice," he declared confidently. "I know everything about business, and I can talk my way through any situation." He spoke endlessly, listing his skills, trying hard to impress Mr. Carter. Then it was Ethan's turn. Mr. Carter asked, "If you faced a difficult situation in business, what would you do?" Ethan paused for a moment, thinking carefully. Then he replied, "First, I would observe and fully understand the situation. Only after deep thought would I decide the best course of action." Mr. Carter smiled. Ethan hadn't said much, but he didn't need to. A few days later, Mr. Carter made an announcement. "I have chosen my business partner. I need someone who thinks before he speaks, who listens before he acts. That person is Ethan." The townspeople were shocked. Jake, who had always teased Ethan for his silence, was speechless. But deep inside, he understood why Ethan had been chosen. Ethan moved to the city and worked under Mr. Carter's mentorship. He learned business strategies, decision-making, and leadership. Over time, he became highly successful. But despite his achievements, he never forgot his hometown. Years later, Ethan returned, not as the quiet boy people once misunderstood, but as a respected leader who had helped his community grow. He funded schools, built a local hospital, and created jobs for the people in town. Sitting once again on his family's old porch, surrounded by people eager to hear his wisdom, Ethan smiled and said, "True strength isn't about how much you speak. It's about how well you understand." Silence isn't emptiness. It's the space where wisdom grows. Even Jake, now humbled, approached him. "I was wrong," he admitted. "Your silence taught me that wisdom is more valuable than endless words." Ethan placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "It's never too late to learn. The power of silence is available to anyone who seeks it." My dear friends, Ethan's story teaches us an important lesson. Silence is not a weakness. It is a strength. When we listen deeply, think carefully, and speak thoughtfully, we make better decisions and earn greater respect. Let us embrace the power of silence and use it to build a life filled with wisdom, success, and kindness. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs this lesson today. Together, let's make the world a better place, one thoughtful action at a time.